Hey everybody, it's Bob from BeGraceful with 2Ls.com. And so I wanted to jump on here and to kind of dive in deeper, I guess, into what we've been talking about this week. And this week we've been talking about one key word, believe. Believe is a huge deal. In fact, it's pretty much everything, okay? And here's why, okay? Believe is what develops and what creates the receive. So I want you to go back for a minute and take a look at any story, any story that's in the Old Testament, okay? And whatever story you see in the Old Testament, you will always see someone being invited to believe before they received, okay? Now, the classic example, I believe, of a life growing and moving towards freedom are the slaves coming out of Israel. The slaves coming out of Egypt, moving to the promised land, which later would become Israel. So here's the story, okay? They were slaves. They were comfortable in their slavery. I mean, yeah, they were getting beaten, and from time to time, somebody get killed. Okay, yeah, well, such is life. Let's just, But they were, for the most part, some of them were kind of comfortable. But here's the thing that you have to understand about comfort. Comfort will kill you if you allow it. Okay? Always be comfortable with uncomfortable. Because uncomfortable is what grows us. When we have an uncomfortable emotion, we have an uncomfortable response to someone, okay, great. That grows us because it shows us part of us that needs to spiritually grow. So, first of all, the slave mindset, the mindset that is trained to ego, the mindset that is trained to our humanness, has to believe that there is a better way. It has to have faith in the idea that something will deliver it from its limited thinking, from its thinking of just get my momentary fix of pain relief, just get my momentary fix of stress relief, and then I'm okay until the next moment that I have stress and I have pain and I realize my pain, and then I got to get my fix again. So the idea really with believe is believe in order to receive, and that's how I first started, believe in order to receive the idea that you no longer have to live in what Eckhart Tolle calls your pain body, okay? Your pain body is what's inside of you that causes you to be a Netflix addict or a drug addict or a alcoholic or a shopping addict or whatever the case may be. There are literally millions of addictions and millions of mixtures of addictions that people follow in order to try to hide their pain that's inside. So the slaves had to first believe that there was a better way. And then what did they do? They moved toward that better way. Was it uncomfortable? Yeah, moves often are. Were they comfortable in the uncomfortable? Well, some developed that, and that's okay. You'll develop that over time. You'll begin to see, okay, I can be comfortable in this uncomfortable moment because what is it teaching me? What is it showing me? What is it developing in me? So, first of all, they had to believe that there was a better way and a freedom that they had no idea about in order to receive that freedom. And then they began to move towards that freedom. And we're going to follow that freedom and follow that path and begin to dive into what that looks like to believe in order to receive. But before we start there, let me just say that the key factor in believing is simply this: believe that the divine is bigger, better, gooder, more beautiful, more amazing, more loving, more merciful, more kind, more faith, more all of that. than you can humanly comprehend. Because that's what you're moving towards. That's the freedom. That's the promised land. So if you understand that, you understand what you're moving toward, because that's a land flowing with milk and honey. When I was religious, when I was back in the day, checking all the boxes, making sure I went down to the altar and prayed and all of this stuff. When I was in that position, I never realized the freedom that was readily available to me. But as I moved toward the promised land, I began to see it. Am I in the promised land? No, I will be in the promised land. But I will tell you this, I've tasted it. I've tasted it. I've tasted it. And I am going to continue to move toward that. And I'm going to continue to move in that direction of the promised land. So, stay tuned, subscribe, connect with us, and be a part of the Be Graceful with 2L's family, because there's some exciting things coming up. And as we dive into this word believe, you're going to see that, and I believe you're going to begin to see the land flowing with milk and honey. Love you guys. We'll chat soon.